while. Today we have two beautiful G63 G Wagons with us today. We have the old generation and the new generation. This is Infinite Auto's previous G Wagon, now it's in the family, and this is Infinite Auto's new G Wagon. So we want to go over the two, do the features of each, the spec of each, and compare them, and really go dive in and take a deep dive into what is the differences between these two G Wagons, why you'd want one, why you'd want the other, and all that good stuff. So first we'll start with the old model here. They're both Designo G Wagons. This is a platinum mango Designo paint along with the Designo quilted interior. Quick little side story here. You might notice the wheels on this are not factory, and these are Forgiato 24-inch forged Forgiatos. And it's a funny story on how we got these wheels. We picked up a G Wagon for a client. It used to be a Miami Dolphins wife's car. The new owner didn't want the forged stars, weren't feeling it, so we put stock wheels on the car. And so we were able to have these forged stars just hanging out in our storage. They were sitting there for so long, it was like, hey, might as well throw them on the G. Here they are. I think it pops with all the chrome accents and the factory matte paint. And yeah, that's the story on those. So moving forward, you can see the old design of the G. This model, the design hasn't changed in 50 years. It's very similar. This is the biggest change we've had in a long time. But this older style, minus the forged stars, is kind of the cult classic and what everyone really thinks of when they're looking at a G Wagon. Coming on into the inside, you can see the old style Designo platinum stitching, which is a really nice feature in this car without the diamond stitching. The car is a little bit less understated, but this really kind of trims it up. And you have the classic Mercedes interior, bare bones, no frills. Nothing too crazy, but it gets the job done. Now I want to talk about the differences between these two motors. In the older generation, we have a 5.5 liter twin turbo V8 that made 563 from the factory. This G Wagon is a little different and is special because we've had it tuned and it's now making around 700 wheel horsepower. And 700 wheel horsepower in a 6,000 pound G, it really hits different. I don't know how to describe it. It's something about that much mass moving that quickly, and it's a really fun thing. But at the same time, when you get up to a turn coming in 80, this thing cannot take turns more than 25 miles an hour. So it's a great straight line blast, and then you better hit the brakes because you're not going around the corner. So we'll come in here and look at the engine first. As you'll notice, we have the same handcrafted plaque that you saw in our other G Wagon video. Since it's an AMG, it's a hand-built motor, start to finish, one guy, so he signs the plaque here to dignify that. And coming over to the new car, they've changed the displacement. It is now a 4 liter, but it makes 577 horsepower. So quite a big change between the two there. And you also notice the engine layout and configuration is different. This is a little more down, a little more back, but still very similar. Same with the AMG plaque and everything. So we want to give you a little rev between the two so you can hear the difference. The old displacement has a little deeper tone than the new one, but they both sound amazing. All right, let's see how this 5.5 liter tuned twin turbo V8 sounds. Awesome, that's the classic Mercedes AMG sound out the classic side pipes. The tune really woke up the turbos, they spool up immediately, you get that whistling noise, it's intoxicating. So now we'll move on to the other G and see how that compares. So in this G Wagon, it's a little different. I'm gonna have to put it in sport mode to get the nice sound out of the exhaust, because comfort's very nice, it's very relaxed, but we're going for sport mode. So as you can tell off the bat, similar but a little different. The lack of displacement in this car makes a little bit of a difference, but at the same time they've added these pops and burbles in this car that are really nice. They really fit the whole tone, and it really just brings it up to that level. All right, so some of the things you're going to notice that you need to know to distinguish between these two generations are, on the old model, the brush bar is on the top here. It has the classic headlights with the underside LEDs, and that was the staple for this car. And they all came in chrome. Some people went aftermarket black, but chrome was the meta. On the new car, they took the brush guard and they swapped it down to the bottom and they put it in gloss black. And honestly, that's a huge signifier right off the bat, just seeing where that brush guard is. And the gloss black really is amazing, especially on the white car with gloss black accents. It really pops. Another main thing about this car is the rounded off edges on every angle of the car, and the new bug eye headlights. Definitely a massive improvement over the old one in terms of modern styling, but still staying true to the G-Wagon's heritage. Now on the side of this car appears way larger, way thicker, way wider than the other one, but still the same classic style. So we're happy that they really didn't go away from too much of the old G-Wagon style, but they really did ramp it up for the 21st century here. So now we're in the 2016 G-Wagon interior, and this entire interior screams classic Mercedes. The classic Mercedes wheel, the small little LED screen here, and it's very narrow in here. It's hard to tell, well, honestly with that lens, it's easy to tell how narrow it is in here. This door comes right up to your side, you know, and you get this reflection in the windows where the windows are so flat that you can almost see the entire reflection each way you look. So if you're not used to that, it could trip you out a little bit. But moving on, we have the Designo stitching in here, which is a really nice option on these cars. It really wakes the interior up from just a plain black. And another thing that you'll really notice about this G-Wagon on the road is that the steering in this car, it's hard to put into words. It's very vague and it's very floaty. So you can move the wheel this much and this much at 80 miles an hour and the car hasn't moved at all. There's no input. So when you're coming into tight corners, it's a really, you have to feel it out and kind of, you know, really dial it in that way. At the same time, that's kind of what people like and it's fun, but it's certainly an interesting thing when you're on the highway and you're going like this and the car is dead straight. That's something in the new one that they've completely fixed, and it's just a quirk of the old versus the new. Another difference is in this model G-Wagon, the sunroof is painted, so it's either open or closed. And back here in this model, we also have stadium seating. So the passengers in the back are riding higher than you, and it's very nice. They have a nice view over you, but at the same time, if you have really tall people in the back, it is pushing them a little higher towards the ceiling. And there's a little cutout in the roof to give them a little more headspace, and it's really not that bad, but in the newer model, they've done away with the stadium seating. And we'll head over there and check out some of the differences in the new model. So now that we're in the new G-Wagon, the first thing you're going to immediately notice is this amount of space in the cabin. It doesn't feel nearly as narrow, and you have a lot more room this way as well. And so it's kind of a lot more of a relaxed fit in here. They've taken some space out of the rear and they've added it to the front, and honestly, it's a really nice setup. Now, it's a completely different vibe in here. This is what I like to refer to as the S-Class of G-Wagons. This redesign and, you know, also this redesign being double the price of this G-Wagon, these are the things that really put this car over the top and warrant that price difference. The first thing here, this is a huge option on this car, is this carbon fiber steering wheel, and this thing feels amazing in hand. The Alcantara, the shape, the rivets, and whenever you're turning the wheel and you feel the carbon, it just feels so nice. The flat bottom wheel is also very nice because it just gives you a little more room here as well, especially when you're trying to corner this big of a German tank. Moving up here, you'll see these large LED screens, and they have so much tech that the old one doesn't have. Like right here, we're looking at a horsepower and torque gauge. It's got a boost gauge, fully digital dash, so there's no delay, there's no lag. You can change everything on here, whether you want navigation, you want radio, you want to change settings, ambient lighting. You can really dial in these displays to however you want. And now your side controls are up here as well for all your seating arrangements. And you know, you really are cruising in comfort in this new G-Wagon. You know, you could put on a hot relaxing back massage, the Burmeister sound system, you know, with how comfortable the suspension is on this car is what I would refer to as your daily G-Wagon. If your G-Wagon is only going to Publix, this is the one you want because you're going to be in comfort. Unless you are really into that cult classic G-Wagon, and then that one's the way to go. So at the end of the day, the conclusion we've come to is if you're looking for a G-Wagon and you love the old style, you like old Broncos, you like old Defenders, and you're looking for a G-Wagon, this G-Wagon is an amazing bargain at $100,000. I can't recommend this car enough. It's going to give you the full soul and feel, and it's an amazing car. On the flip side, if you're looking for a more comfortable, dailyable G Wagon, you cannot go wrong with the new one. If you have the extra money to spend, it's a no-brainer. You'll be so happy, but either car is great, and they're both G Wagons, and you can't go wrong on a beautiful sunny day in South Florida with two G63s.